have a lot of folks that come into Triple Whale and they're just ROAS. We're now seeing people focus more on metrics like more cost per acquisitions, their CPAs, and their LTV. I think, especially with digital marketing costs changing and platform volatility, there's been so much more investment in retention marketing, really considering the LTV of the customer, and pushes that are happening more on the brand side, like, organic social, building a community for your customers, those sorts of things.
You're listening to eCommerce Fastlane, the podcast show to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company, powered by Shopify. Listen to real conversations with partners and subject matter experts as they share proven practical strategies, platforms, and the best Shopify apps to help you accelerate your business. The time is now for you to improve efficiencies, grow revenue, profit, and lifetime customer loyalty. Please welcome your host, startup founder, and strategic advisor, Steve Hutt.
Today's episode is brought to you by Gorgias, the leading customer service platform for Shopify e-commerce brands, helping merchants to unlock revenue and deliver exceptional customer service. By prioritizing customer engagement, brands can create deeper and more personalized experiences for their shoppers. With the rising costs of acquiring new customers, retention is the key focus for direct-to-consumer brands. Creating outstanding customer experiences shouldn't be costly or a burden for your customer support team. This is exactly why Gorgias is so great. Gorgias helps you improve your customer experiences by managing all of your communication channels from one dashboard. It provides you with the ability to customize messages and automate replies, giving Gorgias users an unparalleled power to resolve customer inquiries quickly and personalized, which is why you need to improve your customer retention. Get started with Gorgias today and start managing all of your communication channels from one platform that's designed to help you. Exclusive to my listeners is a 2-month free trial, so go check them out today at ecommercefastlane.com/Gorgias. Hey there, my name is Steve Hutt. I'm Senior Merchant Success Manager here at Shopify, and welcome back to Season 5 of eCommerce Fastlane. Whether this is your first time listening or you're a weekly subscriber, I seriously appreciate the fact that you're taking time and listening to the show today. I know there's plenty of podcast choices in Shopify, e-commerce, direct-to-consumer marketing, and just the fact that you're here today means the world to me, and I know it does for my featured guest. If this is your first time listening, this is an e-commerce show. We have honest and transparent conversations about building and thriving with your store powered by Shopify or Shopify Plus. Now, if you're an ambitious, lifelong learner, which you likely are since you're here today, you're definitely in the right place. I also highly recommend to get the full value of today's episode that you click through from the podcast app of choice and go to the show notes at ecommercefastlane.com. And there you'll find the full transcript, links, and then all the resources that we mentioned today. Now, today's episode, my guest is Alexa, who's the head of brand for a company called Triple Whale, and they're at trytriplewhale.com. And they're a data analytics platform. And what they do is they help Shopify and other CMSs, but mostly Shopify, direct-to-consumer brands to develop and scale. Basically what it is a mobile-first platform, and there's these kind of data-driven it's almost like there's dashboards. They centralize and visualize and all the attribution of your social ads and then all the data that resides inside Shopify, your order data, customer data, all information. And all of these important KPIs are available from within the mobile app and the desktop and allows you to maybe action that data correctly. So it's quite a bit of a different departure than maybe the analytics that are available inside Shopify. This is a separate dedicated solution that kind of is the best of both worlds. What does Shopify have, but then what's going on the ad networks and how they all work together to help you make better decisions to grow and scale your business. So let's welcome Alexa to eCommerce Fastlane.
Hey, Steve. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. My pleasure. I'm excited to chat today. Triple Whale has been on my radar. You guys are hardcore on Twitter right now. Like, that's where I learned about you. Either I don't know what you're doing from the marketing or growth team, but you're really out there and sharing some great value. That's important. I think Twitter, I know usually poof, it's gone like in 5 minutes, but for some reason you have some really good processes out there of educating people on value first. And I think that's what's fueling a lot of your growth. That's what got you on my radar. And ironically enough, I have a brand that I manage in the golf industry, and he's one of the co-founders, and he absolutely massively loves Triple Whale. It's in his pocket. He's nonstop. He's your typical entrepreneur where, on 24/7, but instead of logging into the Shopify admin, he actually logs into his Triple Whale app and takes a look at kind of like the metrics, kind of what's going on in real time for his business. So it's really, really exciting to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think that's what makes Triple Whale so powerful, that mobile access. So I'm excited to jam more.
Cool. So let's talk on a high level, because I can guarantee you, all the people listening today, Triple Whale, what the heck is a Triple Whale? Like, let's dig into the platform and let's talk about some of the problems that you're solving today for Shopify brands.
Totally, yeah. So Triple Whale, we are an e-commerce operating system. So in addition to offering centralized data analytics, we also have a first-party pixel with first-party data attribution, which serves to kind of solve the post-iOS 14 challenges that have happened with digital marketing attribution from those paid ads. So key stakeholders of Shopify brands that are looking to scale their businesses can access either our mobile or our desktop dashboard, which centralizes all of your data from not only your Shopify revenue and your digital marketing attribution and spend, but also integrations with other things that you might use, like your email and SMS platforms, your Gorgeous for customer service, things like that. And that way you can illustrate all your KPIs in a super simple and digestible way.
Love this. I love this a lot, because I think that's part of the challenge, though, is because people's tech stack is pretty deep. I mean, people listening today, that's the thing, oh, Steve, another tool. But the reality is that you play nicely with lots of others in the Shopify ecosystem, but it's complementary to what you're already doing. If you're a Klaviyo customer, fantastic. This connects. If you're doing top of funnel kind of advertising, social ads, this application has got your back, not to mention the first party data inside Shopify. So I think this is all good. I want to dig much deeper into this. I want to understand the origin story first, I think, because it just fascinates me of why people build what they build. And I say it a lot on the show, is that I believe it's not just, I want to start a SaaS company because I want recurring revenue. I just want that MRR, we call it. Yes, it's a business. I get it. But I think overall, from what I understand, the research I've done, there's a bigger story to tell here. Yes, we want to have a SaaS company, and that's interesting from a business perspective, the predictability of running SaaS. But on the flip side, though, it appears that the upside is way more in the merchants getting access to the tool and actioning it. So if you can talk a little bit about maybe how, I guess, the pieces came together for the founding team. And I'm just trying to understand the desire and the expertise of these founding team to even want to build this platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So we technically have 3 co-founders, but 2 of our co-founders met when our current COO and co-founder Max Blank was running an e-commerce brand with his wife called Madison Braids. He was working with one of our other co-founders, now CEO AJ, and they were manually tracking a lot of their digital marketing spend. They were trying to do a lot of manual calculations in these massive Excel sheets while running Max's e-commerce company. And as AJ was working with Max, he was thinking to himself, there's got to be an easier way to do this. And so he was trying to set up lots of different integrations with, different things like Zapier, trying to pull data into his Excel sheets. And so originally when the platform was built, it was really intended to be a data aggregation solution. It was supposed to be a dashboard that kind of pulled in all your Shopify data, your reporting from your digital marketing spend, any sort of reporting that you wanted. And then very quickly after we started building it, we realized that the iOS 14.5 massive changes were coming. And so we knew that we would then need to not only account for pulling all that data into a simple and digestible dashboard, but also find a solution for attribution. And so shortly thereafter, we rolled out the actual dashboard itself. We then rolled out what we call the Triple Pixel, which is a first-party data solution. Very simple. You just insert a little bit of code on your website and have a little bit going on with your ad links on the digital marketing side. And now you can kind of solve for those iOS 14.5 challenges with this first-party attribution solution. The real goal at the both beginning and continuing through is really to help e-commerce operators be able to scale their businesses with clear data that makes sense, access it wherever they need to access it via that mobile app, but also give folks that are operating these businesses more time to spend with their families, more time at work to work on the things that they're passionate about, rather than managing a bunch of different tabs and this kind of tedious reporting,
Yes. You're singing to the choir. Trust me. I know it well.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Thanks so much for sharing that. It's interesting. It's a great pivot over to what I'm seeing the same on my end with the brands that I manage. The landscape has certainly changed since iOS 14.5. And, now you have to manually opt in, as to be tracked. And that no one's doing that. People say, no, no, thank you. I don't want to manually opt into anything. And so it's interesting. And so like, what are you seeing on your end? Like as far as, cause I have an interesting story to tell too in a moment, but I just would like to understand from your side, what are merchants talking about as it relates to iOS 14.5? I guess is part one of the question. And part two, like, how are you making it easier for brands? Is it your pixel or is it just the way you display the data now? So I just want to make sure we're educating people today about, yes, iOS 14.5 is a pain, but then instead of putting my head in the sand and pretending it doesn't exist, what are we doing about it? So just like to hear your context on either side of those questions.
Totally. Yeah. So at our current stage, we have about 4,000 Shopify stores currently using Triple Whale, which is a tiny piece of the market, but is actually really fascinating just to see all of the data that we have access to now. As much as iOS 14.5 has impacted businesses that are running paid ads on Facebook, we're noticing that Facebook spend is still there. It's definitely still the paid social platform of choice. What we're seeing that's trending and very interesting is that the costs on Facebook are impacting, the rising costs on Facebook are impacting small to medium-sized businesses the most. And those are the businesses that are really shifting their digital marketing spend and diversifying a lot more, investing now into some of the lesser used or newer platforms like TikTok and Pinterest. Large growth in Google spend we're seeing as well. I think what's happening is a lot of the small to medium-sized businesses, they're seeing that their costs are getting hit hard on Facebook. And so they're working to spend not only more efficiently on other platforms, but they're also spending on tools or solutions that help them with their data, like Triple Whale or, particular landing page builders that are smart. And so they're trying to balance their costs in order to really support their businesses. We're also noticing that we're seeing some of the larger e-com businesses scale down on their employees. As I'm sure you know, and as we've seen in the news, there have been these massive waves of layoffs. The e-commerce market is not immune. So brands are going a little bit more lean again. And one of the coolest things that we've seen that's come out of Triple Whale is so many e-commerce business owners and Shopify store owners have kind of learned as they've been building their businesses. So, they started drop shipping or they started selling banana board shorts on Shopify, and they perhaps weren't, expert media buyers or digital marketers. And so as they're learning through their business, they're also learning that some of the metrics that they were using to justify, success or challenges have shifted. And so whereas we have a lot of folks that come into Triple Whale and they're just ROAS people, we're now seeing people focus more on metrics like more cost per acquisitions, their CPAs and their LTV. I think especially with digital marketing costs changing and platform volatility, there's been so much more investment in retention marketing, really considering the LTV of the customer, and pushes that are happening more on the brand side, like, organic social, building a community for your customers, those sorts of things. Talking directly about how we're seeing those changes with Triple Whale customers, time and time again, I speak to customers who tell me that, we offer in our platform the ability to see metrics like new customer CPA as opposed to just your CPA, see customers' journeys to purchase and a better, deeper understanding of LTV beyond just a number associated with their name, but what do their purchasing behaviors look like? People are investing more into really digging into that data. Because we've seen a lot of success across our customers with TikTok. We have more customers investing more deeply into TikTok. But we ultimately are just really arming folks with metrics that they may not have considered before. They're now using to kind of inspire future financial modeling and even inventory and purchasing decisions. And so it's been really cool just to see how not only providing that clear data to people has supported their businesses, but also providing them metrics that they perhaps haven't thought about in a really clear and digestible way has supported their businesses in so many different ways.
This is lovely. There's one thing I was thinking about. This comes up a lot with brands. They're like, okay, we know with these different pixels that are available, just having the Facebook pixel and the Google pixel and, you've got the TikTok pixel and the Pinterest pixel, lots of stuff firing, lots of stuff going on, just so we can kind of a little bit kind of understand some of the attribution, at least for those that are allowing to be tracked. Great that you have your own server-side tracking, and I think that's great. One thing that's interesting about the known versus the unknown site visitor, because I'm sure you would agree that however people are getting to your site today as a retailer on Shopify, probably 90% of the traffic is kind of unknown. I mean, you're going to convert, of that, you're going to convert maybe 10% to known, and then with a 3% conversion rate or a 2% conversion rate. And so you know 10% of them, you don't know the other 90%. And so I guess my question back to you is there a way somewhere in Triple Whale, either using your pixel, or is there other technologies available like through your platform that say, hey, here's how, I know there's some PII, this personally identifiable information that maybe there's some privacy policies around. Well, how do you know what the details are of this unknown site visitor? And so I just want to hear like your side of it, where if they become known either through an opt-in, through SMS or through email or push notifications or whatever it is, great, or an order. So now they're a known customer. So we get that, then that journey, this recency, frequency, monetization kind of thing. But then what about the other 90% of the unknown site visitor where an exit intent pop-up didn't work? You paid to get them there, or a referral link, they came there, they looked around and poof, they left. And you don't know who they are, but your pixel fired. What happens with these 90% of the unknown customers, and can we somehow market to them to make them known, I guess, so to speak?
Yeah, totally. So to explain it incredibly simply, and know that you're talking to the head of brand here. So I appreciate the simplicity of the pixel technicality, but essentially when someone visits your Shopify site, whether they're a known customer or an unknown customer, they're assigned like a little unique ID. So basically a string of numbers. When that customer ultimately goes on to purchase, that unique ID will be assigned to that customer, their Shopify record. You can see what they've purchased, their journey to purchase, etc. If they don't purchase, they were made one of those unique strings of numbers. And so you as a store owner won't be able to figure out who that person actually is, like look them up on Facebook and find them or anything like that. But you will have aggregated data showing you the journeys of people who did not purchase, pathways that people have come to your site, what they'd seen before they came to your site. And so they remain anonymous, but they still kind of exist in your data.
I see. Because I guess some of the other workarounds, Lucky Orange or Full Story, or these kind of like Hotjar and stuff where people are, unknown site visitors still, and some heat mapping / kind of like recording solutions people are running just because they want to understand, like, why don't I know the 90%? Okay, fair enough, I don't know, but man, I can watch them online and see them moving around my website and seeing potentially where they drop off. So it's kind of maybe the best of both worlds to potentially have a visualization tool that's recording sessions, certainly the 90% of unknown site visitors, but meanwhile, your pixel's also firing so that at some point in their journey, something triggers a condition where, hey, they're now known either through an opt-in or through a purchase. And you're like, okay, great. Now I understand where they were and how many times they came to the website from, and what the attribution was behind it all. And then boom, now maybe the marketer starts thinking more about it. Oh, they came 7 times to the website. They saw these 2 ads over on Facebook. Now they finally came back and purchased. And what triggered them was this, whatever that is. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah. And I think it's really great just to share with your marketing team to consider your purchase objections as a whole. Like, how can we be accounting for those better in our front-facing ads? How can we be accounting for those better in our email marketing? The coolest thing about Triple Whale is that you don't pay per seats. You just pay to use it for your Shopify store. You pay per store. And so you can share that data with anybody on your team. You can share some of it. You can share all of it. And so you can give them access to kind of whatever you need to arm them with to best support, the path to conversion or informing how you want to modify your ad creative, all that kinds of good stuff.
Very cool. I'm going to pivot a bit to competition because I always have this mantra that, it really is a blue ocean out there of opportunity with, more than 2 million brands on Shopify, and knowing that a lot are not using business intelligence tools, but you need them to kind of get to the next level. Analytics tool like yours is certainly part of that mix. If you do a quick search, like either on Google or go to the App Store or wherever, there are other notable partners that are, I guess, thinking about first party data, thinking about, the social ads and all of that and how it attributes to overall net revenue and LTV and average order value. all the big kind of, I call them vanity metrics, but important KPIs for the business. And so knowing all of that, what makes Triple Whale kind of intentionally different than others in the analytics / kind of business intelligence tools that are available right now currently?
Yeah. So, the biggest thing is that our first party pixel doesn't use modeled data. We're actually tracking events on your site. We're actually, like we talked about, really attributing those purchases and those events to actual people who then give you their information at checkout. So the first party data is really critical because pretty much anybody can make a model and do their best. That's really what Facebook's doing. That's really what TikTok's doing. But by using, our server-side pixel, you're really getting clarity around your shop, where your shoppers are coming from, what products they're buying, how you can better market to them in the future. And that's what really helps support questions as basic as what channel should I be spending on, all the way down to which products are leading to XYZ in the product journey or in the purchase journey. So I think that that's, one of the greatest joys. Triple Whale as a whole, we were born as this data visualization and data aggregation dashboard. We wanted to make it mobile first, which is very unique that we have fully featured mobile apps for iOS and Android so that you can truly access that real-time performance wherever you are, anywhere in the world. You don't need to be kind of chained to your laptop with all your different tabs open for all your digital marketing spend. And so I think that's pretty awesome that you have that freedom. And we also allow you to customize that dashboard in whichever way you want so that you can really, we're not forcing you to look at this summary page that has what metrics we think are most important. You can really modify it to be the metrics that are most important to your business that you want to share with your team. So you're not really wrangling all that data or you have to export it, send it reports, spending more time. We also have just really set up the business in a way that it supports e-commerce business owners and brands at the stage that they're at. So we've not only set up our pricing based on your actual revenue numbers so that it makes sense and it is a feasible spend for your business, but our integrations and our users are unlimited. So you can have anyone on your team have access to your dashboard. You can integrate all your major apps that you need. You don't have to pay extra fees in that. And you can even integrate multiple stores. And then we have a view called Pods View, which allows you to toggle through, different stores within the same account. And then there's some other, unique things like we do have LTV analysis and this thing called cohorts that really allows you to drill down into your data using the metrics of your choice, looking at LTV over a 60-day range or a 90-day range. So the data really is drilled in and even gives you as detailed as like time between orders, product journeys, things like that. One last thing that I'm very excited about is we're actually refining it and kind of relaunching it. But right now, even built in, we have a creative analytics tool that allows you to look at your actual ad creative and attribute purchases down to that ad creative so that you can share that with your media buying and your performance marketing team so that they know what to focus on as they're producing more ad creative for these different platforms.
Thanks for supporting our incredible sponsor, Gorgeous, the leading customer service platform for Shopify brands. They help customer success teams fulfill a promise of delightful customer experiences. This leads to higher customer retention and brand loyalty for your Shopify store. Now, don't forget to click the link in the show notes. You get an exclusive 2-month free trial of Gorgeous, or you can head on over to ecommercefastlane.com/gorgeous. That definitely makes sense. I've had enough teams on discussing about ad creative and stuff and the importance of it. And, at some point, not banner blindness, but sometimes it happens if you're just, doing the standard things over and over and over again. And the idea like UGC, using influencers and unique content, if something just converts really well, it's nice to know like, hey, this ad creative had a big pop of, we can see the numbers and the conversion and the LTV went up. That's very interesting that you're going to be tracking and following that. But I think teams know that, that they have to get involved either in-house or through the creator economy and getting out there with influencers and, building, these brand ambassadors, kind of helping promote the brand through original video and reels. And it's unreal. Some of the stuff that's available now and the quality of what people are producing, but then it's still genuine. But knowing that, that certain creative works, great to see your tools can be working on that. One other thing that I noticed too was about your connections to, and I mentioned a little bit already about the technology partnerships you have, so this is your platform doesn't interrupt anything that people are already using, so if you're an Attentive customer or Gorgeous and Klaviyo and others, Postscript, Enquire Labs for post-purchase surveys, there's lots of stuff that you guys are like tightly aligned with. And I'm sure this is going to be a nonstop kind of iterative process as you grow the business to keep adding on these tech partners. But one thing I thought was interesting is the agency side. There are definitely agency founders and agency marketers who don't own brands, but service brands that listen to this episode. And so can you just talk a couple minutes about what would be the benefit for, and I see some great notable agency partners who are Triple Whale customers of yours. So what is the benefit for an agency who supports the marketing of a direct-to-consumer brand as it relates to Triple Whale, like multi-store views, or like do they make their decisions based on what Triple Whale is showing? I'm just curious of kind of why agency partners are choosing Triple Whale.
Yeah, totally. I mean, at the end of the day, it really comes down to the fact that our agency partners want to be making better decisions for their clients. And so Triple Whale kind of unlocks this data for them that gives them really accurate answers to the questions like, which channels should we be focusing on? What's actually performing well? What are our actual acquisition costs? And so for the most part, when we work with agency partners and we ask them, hey, glad that you're here. Why are you excited about Triple Whale? They're like, I just want to service my customers better. And I think it also helps, now that Triple Whale has grown a bit and e-commerce operators are aware that attribution has become a challenge, knowing that an agency is using an attribution solution and that they're going to be able to invest their money not only in the agency, but also in, trust their spend with someone who has really clear data. It makes the agency sales process a lot easier for the agency, and it also makes the clients a lot happier. So I think that's great. To your point about views and things like that, we have, a reporting solution that allows you to report for multiple Shopify stores. We have a view called the Pods view where you can see kind of broad scope, the metrics of your choice of all the different Shopify stores that you manage. And I was actually recently at a conference in Miami. I was sitting next to an agency owner an agency owner that manages multiple stores. And we were sitting in a talk and he was having Triple Whale mobile app up on his phone, just checking on things for his clients as they were slacking him during this conference without even having to have his laptop open. And so I think it allows those agency folks to really respond very quickly when clients have concerns or questions as to what's actually going on.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. Okay, I'm going to make sure I put that link in the show notes. So, hey, agency partners that are listening, this could be your secret sauce to kind of, service your brands. So that's something to think about. And then, potentially even giving access to that tool to the partner itself. So agencies have it as their kind of decision-making process, but imagining some kind of a special arrangement to allow the direct-to-consumer brand to also get access to the same tool as part of the same instance. So that could be interesting discussions. I do want to pivot to a story now because I think that, there's so many people listening today and they really get motivated. I get motivated too because I don't know this story yet. I know we talked a little bit about it, but I just want to understand about a company. They, obviously had a desire of trying to understand their data. Shopify does have an analytics, tab, and there's, you can see things in there, but maybe they've used other tools, but I just think I'd love to understand about what happened to a brand that you work with today that didn't have Triple Whale. They found out about you, probably from Twitter, that signed up, started using it. And then I'm curious is kind of what sort of things motivated them, or what was the end result or some kind of KPIs or aha moment that came out of the fact that Triple Whale is now showing them something that they were able to action.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd love to share with you the story of a brand called Obvi. They're kind of one of the big e-commerce big players on Twitter right now. They're two co-founders, Ash and Ron, are both very active on Twitter, and they actually own a women's wellness brand. They sell things like collagen protein and all sorts of fun flavors. They have really been Triple Whale customers since the beginning. They really started using Triple Whale in March of 2021. And actually, Ash, one of the co-founders, he's also the CMO, was tweeting just about attribution challenges and challenges that he was having with digital marketing and not really knowing what was going on with his ad spend. And so one of our co-founders, AJ, reached out and said, hey, would you be willing to try this thing out that we're building? We think you'd be, a great early user. At the time, Obvi, the brand, had actually just hired a data analyst intern because they were trying to figure out all this stuff on their own and setting up all these Zapier integrations and crazy spreadsheets and manual calculations. And Ash had even told me that he was sitting with his calculator every couple hours trying to literally manually calculate blended ROAS. And it was just really ineffective for him. And especially as they began scaling up their ad spend, they're well into the millions. And so it was just a really daunting task. And they were using all these different applications to try and get it done. And it just was still not very effective. So that was happening, just kind of manually trying to do it. And then also, of course, the iOS 14.5 changes hit. And Ash told me he began to see his MRR falling. He felt like his platforms weren't working. He wasn't getting the data he needed, and he just didn't really know where to go. They had pushed a bunch more product launches in 2021, and they just weren't seeing the growth that they had forecasted as a result of these platform changes. So we got Ash on Triple Whale, and he was able to immediately, onboard and get a quick glance view of his data using the dashboard, restored a lot of clarity for him. Thankfully, they were able to actually pivot that intern into another role because this all kind of lined up at the same time. And so they were able to use the intern elsewhere so that, don't worry, the intern still got to keep his internship. But they got a lot of clarity on the media buying side. And really, they just ended up making a lot more data-informed media buying and creative decisions using the data that was coming from the triple pixel. Once they started using triple pixel data to make their media buying decisions, then they finally began to see their MER and their overall sales performance turn around. And kind of like I mentioned earlier, they were one of those brands where, they were focusing on certain metrics, but not really thinking about others. And so one of those was NCPA. NCAC, new customer acquisition cost. He was previously looking at customer acquisition cost on NCAC, and having that level of insight into his data really helped him optimize his ad spend and result in that improved performance. He even realized that he was able to look back and realize that his 2021 NCAC was about 2x what it was the year prior. And so it really helped him make a lot of key business decisions that ultimately improved the remainder of their 2021 sales year. And with access to all this data, in addition to optimizing their ad spend, they were able to basically rebuild their financial models for the year and find a lot of opportunities for growth within their business. So they hired new graphic designers and developers and overhauled their website, built new landing pages, built a new creative strategy for testing, and then monitored the results and the performance of everything through Triple Whale to figure out, where to scale and how to make those decisions. And so, when they first started working with us, they were projecting to actually do worse than the prior year in rev, and they have done nothing but grow. So now, they're in that 30 million a year range. They're absolutely crushing it. They're growing really quickly and building out their team. They just had a really awesome story with Triple Whale. And so I'm super excited to share that with you.
Yeah, this is lovely. I'm actually on their website right now. It's myobvi, so my and obvi.com. Beautiful site, really well done. It actually says, happy birthday, we're turning 3. So they're in their 3rd year now. So they definitely got product market fit, and they're obviously on Shopify Plus doing their thing. I'm going to find out who the merchant success manager is and let them know about this podcast to make sure they know. Hopefully they know that they're using Triple Whale as part of, their marketing strategy and reporting. Just making great decisions. I think that's the key of what I'm learning today is just having access to the data is one thing, but this whole concept of like analysis paralysis, right? It's just something that's just overwhelming versus no. What's the most important KPIs that actually could move the business forward? What sort of things can we think about now, and having it in the mobile app and being able to make those decisions and just feel comfortable that things are moving in the right direction, but you can also dig deep as required, based on your pixel and access to all the social networks and things. So pretty cool stuff. I guess we are kind of nearing the end of the show for today. I just would love to understand, since I know you're still a newish company, I know that there's been quite a growth curve. Just in employees alone, I think you're up to from 20 to 100, I think almost in 1 year. And things are really so it's clear you have product market fit and you're on this journey right now of really wanting to help D2C brands. But I'm curious about if there's a public roadmap or anything we can talk about publicly. Here we are today doing our thing, but where do you see the Triple Whale brand moving forward? Is there any feature sets or kind of service offerings into the future?
Yeah, so we truly are moving and grooving with this North Star of being a e-commerce operating system. And so what I can kind of tease without giving you hard deadlines is we want to support every facet of the e-commerce business and really truly simplify all these different tabs that you probably have open and use our same visualization to visualize all the different things for your business. So whether that's inventory management, financial modeling, all those sorts of things, we're looking to kind of bring those all as modules for Triple Whale so that at the end of the day, if you could only have one tab open on your computer, you would feel confident knowing that you can totally still run your business working off of the Triple Whale tab. So I think that's pretty awesome. As I had mentioned, we've already announced, but we do have right now a built-in version of that creative analytics tool. We're refining it and making it even stronger. And so we have that coming this summer, which is a big thing that's been asked for by a lot of our clients. But the coolest thing about our market is we're really close with our e-commerce operators and sorters. And so people ask us for integrations. When they ask us for additional feature sets, we truly, take that to heart and we build it in as best we can. And so I encourage, your listeners that are using Triple Whale right now and ones that are considering it, that if you have feedback or ideas or ways that we could better support your business, please do let us know. There's many ways to contact us through our website, and we'd love to know, what would be really important for you to have access to as part of Triple Whale so we can continue building out the operating system for e-commerce brands.
Yeah, I love that. I know we have a similar thing about merchant frustrations because there's certain things that maybe the platform, and Shopify does, but we all are very, very open to and triaging what sort of things can we help impact the 80%, and should we be building something like that or acquiring something like that to solve that need. And so, yeah, it's a nonstop iterative approach for product building. Is you have your own ideas of what you believe needs to be done, but it's nice that you're taking kind of constructive feedback from your brands that are connecting their paying customers and saying, hey, I wish I had this. I think that's great that you're having that kind of a mindset. So where should people go next to learn more about your tool? I know we talked a little bit in the green room before recording, but maybe you can kind of talk about an offer and kind of a next steps where people should go.
Yeah, so absolutely. Now that we're working with eCommerce Fastlane, we do have a link that you can visit. That's just ecommercefastlane.com/triple whale. You can learn more about Triple Whale there. Our product is 100% backed by a 90-day money-back guarantee. So we feel so confident that you will love Triple Whale. We will 100% guarantee you that if you onboard, you aren't loving it for any reason, you can reach out, let us know. But we feel very confident that the money that you spend will 100% earn back, because it is such a powerful tool when you're really trying to unpack your digital marketing spend. Of course, if you haven't seen us already, we're very active on Twitter, the Bird app, as I like to call it. And so you can find us at Triple Whale on Twitter, but you're welcome to reach out wherever you find us. Send us a note. We'd love to connect. And for those of you that aren't following us on Twitter, you'll know that we're actually spending this year really traveling around both the US and internationally to connect with some more folks in the e-commerce ecosystem. So we'll be in New York next week, and London in August, and LA soon, and Toronto soon. So stay tuned, and we'd love to kind of meet you while we're in your town and learn more about your business.
All right. And the pricing is great too. You know, there's all different ranges. It really depends on the GMV, like your gross merchandise volume. And so there's, some very affordable plans in the $100 to $300 a month kind of plan. If you're sub $1 million in revenue, it scales up appropriately based on the decision making. Even brands, upwards of $5 million, or at least $500 a month. It really is dirt cheap in the grand scheme of the data that you're actually getting out of it. And knowing that there's an affordable pice of software that's available that, is very specifically focused on helping you grow your business, and have an amazing mobile app that, like I said, I have every week when I meet my merchant. He always, in a golf brand, I can't give it away, it's not a public case study yet, but he loves Triple Whale. And so he's advocating for you guys. You should reach out to him after this recording. I'll give you his name. But yeah, it's like, he's awesome. He really is cool. And he's doing his thing. But so, yeah, thank you, Alexa, for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. It really opened my mind. I think that's one of the benefits of this podcast, is that there's so much tools, and there's a lot of information out there that I think a lot of people get overwhelmed and stuff like that. And I like to take the intentional kind of 1 hour to kind of pause and learn. And it's very clear that you're doing some like incredible things for Shopify brands. I just wanted to thank you for coming on the show. Thanks, Triple Whale and the whole founding team for kind of building this product. I'm excited for your future. I'm glad your flag is in the Shopify sand, so to speak, and really helping these direct-to-consumer brands. And I wish you tremendous success moving into the future. And yeah, thanks again for coming on the show. Well, that's it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you personally for being a loyal listener of eCommerce Fastlane. It's my hope that this podcast is offering you a ton of value through growth strategies, tactics, and exclusive insider tips on the best Shopify apps and marketing platforms, all with my personal goal to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company powered by Shopify. Thanks for investing some time today and listening to the show. I'm so proud and excited that you have a growth mindset and are a constant learner. I truly appreciate you and your entrepreneurial journey. Enjoy the rest of the week and keep thriving with Shopify.